yourself a tux, grow a pencil-thin mustache, you too can get a folding chair bent over your shoulders by Rowdy Robin. I'd be a little cautious about getting typecast in this manner. All of your and Miller's good reporting might get tainted by this type of stuff. Regards, BB. With all of that as background, tell us why you have a problem.
Okay, the last paragraph of that email is what's important. I was already concerned before I got that email. That comes from Bob Brown, who was my longtime motorsports editor at Sports Illustrated. Before that, Bob was the editor-in-chief of Car and Driver for a long time. I would offer him as an excellent authority on credibility and what it takes to keep it in motor racing journalism. I'm in the truth-telling business. Credibility is the blood and marrow of what I do. And when you portray me, joking, lighthearted, gag, or otherwise, as somebody who might come across and go at his job from a standpoint of hating anything or hate-mongering, then it might cloud people's understanding of my objectivity. I've got to have my objectivity for my credibility. You can call me candid, absolutely, passionate about what I cover, irreverent sometimes, outrageous sometimes, maybe, but always, always with credibility, and I'm careful to be fair. Anything, you know, hate is in today's world, hate is a very volatile and dangerous term to throw around. It can have minor connotations, but it has some god-awful connotations to it now.
I apologize, because I know you not to be hateful, and I in no way intended to sully your credibility.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
And as we have to also talk about, we all say things like, I hate what Tony George did in Indianapolis 500. I hate what's happened to open wheel racing. I hate the fact that I watch NASCAR races on a regular basis. When maybe, in fact, we don't...
Said the master of objectivity.
Said maybe we don't actually hate people, although I think Tony and I probably hate each other. It's just, it isn't fair to lump me in with Hinton, because he's a college-educated man with a family, and I am a flunk out of Ball State who can't hold a job, who does hate a lot of things.
I think my biggest crime was painting him with the Robin Miller brush. But let's move on to your latest career developments. Here's the email. It says, this is from Don in Indianapolis. It says, Robin Miller has always been like Howard Cosell. Well, not really. Some people actually liked Howard. Just joking. Robin tells it like it is. More and more paid mouthpieces just toe the company line. Robin told the truth about the Champ Car World Series. You wrote that Champ Car in the offseason is in disarray and short of cars, and as a result, you were relieved of your duties writing for the Champ Car website. Do I have all that?
You got it all right.
Is that all accurate?
That's accurate. And again, when you have to, these guys, racing people are so thin-skinned, they'd never make it in the stick and ball arena, as Ed knows. What I wrote wasn't that critical. It could have been a lot worse. But I think that the front office it's the old SCCA guys, and Champ Car is starting to look more and more like the SCCA boys, and that's not a good thing. So they can take it any way they want it. If they saw all the emails I got from owners, drivers, mechanics that are in the series or had been in the series that said, hey, it's about time somebody told these guys things are in big trouble, and to lose a job at the website, they gave me a little bit of freedom to make some critical analysis during the, I only wrote 4 stories a week and a month, and it didn't really affect how you're going to cover racing, because if you can write a news story and you can write commentary, it's a very easy thing to separate.
And Kelvin Kalkoven says there will be announcements this weekend at Laguna at the next weekend that will put it all right, that there will be plenty of cars, that everything's okay.
Yeah, he also says they're not financing anybody, but then I say, well, what about Catherine Legg? What about Toronto? What about Long Beach? What about all the TV you got to pay for every week? So we'll see.
Let me ask you about, because print is different from broadcast and the internet and all the rest of that. Don in Indy says, I guess he was talking about other racing reporters. He used the term, there are more and more paid mouthpieces just towing the party line.
Well, it's because the media coverage of motor racing now is dominated by electronics. When I say that, I mean, by and large, You've got several networks who have licensing contracts to broadcast with the various sanctioning bodies. Along with that, all these networks have brought their .coms. And you have people whose financial interests are commingled with that of the racing series. And I don't see how you can have total objectivity and total fair commentary when somebody says, well, you know, if we say something bad about NASCAR, that's going to hit us in the wallet for our TV commercials. Or, you know, when you got to be separate from that. You got to be independent. You got to, newspapers look at motor. We cover motor racing as a service to our readers. And the revenues of newspapers, while I'm sure some ads are sold in relation to racing, the revenues of newspapers aren't totally tied to motor racing. So we can exercise some independence there.
But isn't there a case to be made that while you claim to be a journalist, the guys who cover NASCAR don't? Nowhere does it say we're here to provide honest, they're there to call the race.
And cheer.
Well, yeah.
Well, maybe.
But I tell you what, take
I mean, is it an expectation that we're putting on them without them
Let me tell your audience this right now. Take a look at the two of us. There aren't many left. We're going to be extinct. And when we go, you're not going to be able to tell whether you're getting the truth or not. I mean, the truth tellers in this business are so far, we're such dinosaurs. That, do you want the truth? Probably a lot of you don't. You know, like Jack Nicholson says, some of you can't handle the truth. But the truth needs to be out there. Robin Miller has made more of a sacrifice over the years for telling the truth. I know of nobody who's paid the price for saying in 1996 that the Indy Racing League was going to destroy the Indy 500, destroy American open wheel racing. 11 years later, Robin Miller, devastated time in, time out by this. Was he wrong? I defy anybody to call in and tell me he was wrong.
The only problem I have with all of this is that it's beginning to sound like a bit of a love fest, and Windtunnel doesn't.
A love fest or what? Between me and Miller?
Well, just
listen. I try to defend the guy all the time. He won't defend himself. I'm going to let him plead guilty and let him be executed or whatever happens to him.
I'm going to leave that topic and move on because it's commercial time. Somebody's got to pay for all this fun. Coming up tonight on Windtunnel, dirty driving, or did Juan have the spot? There are differing opinions on the move, which Juan Pablo Montoya made to win his first NASCAR race. Also in NASCAR, Tony Stewart reportedly had the best line yet about Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his future at BEI. We'll share shortly. Will the AMA Superbike rivalry between Ben Spies and Matt Mladen rise to a new level starting at Daytona? We'll be asking the series champion, and perhaps best of all, we'll tell you the real reason Robin Miller is such a noun I can't say on family TV. Windtunnel tells all, and we'll try hard not to make it hateful.
Windtunnel with Dave Despain is presented by Alltel Wireless. Get My Circle exclusively from Alltel. And brought to you in part by Hungry Man. When you're a hungry man, you need hearty food that's sure to fill you up. Hungry Man. It's good to be full.